Hi guys, welcome to the Strange Man channel. In this video I will tell interesting stories. What is the most degrading thing you have ever done for money? Story 1. My dad was a drug addict and therefore took us around his drug addict friends and dealers. I was around 7 when they needed to keep me occupied so they could go get high, so his friend promised me a $20 bill if I cleaned out his refrigerator. Of course I agreed. Without even seeing the fridge, I opened up a nasty, moldy, stinky, bug-filled box. It was completely covered inside with spilled soda and potato bugs, maggots, black mold, fuzzy mold. It was awful, and I'm fairly certain this would be considered child endangerment today. They didn't provide me with a mask or gloves, but I wanted that $20, so I got to work. I'm not even sure how long I was working on it, but I got it as clean as I could before my dad told me it was time to go. I never got that $20. The next time I saw my dad's friend, I mentioned he owed me money and he laughed and said, "Oh, that's right, I owe you $5, I'll bring it next time, kid." And that's when I learned people who also abuse people. Story 2. I met this guy on Craigslist who offered me $100 for a back massage. When I got there, he wanted me to step all over his back, then his neck, then his face. It was a little strange, but he said he had been going to a massage therapist in another town, and I thought maybe it's just something they do there. Well, later he contacted me and asked if I'd stomp on his for $500. I did it. He had a special table he made for this and everything, and some very weird role-playing he wanted me to get into. I was fully clothed the whole time, but he wanted me to pretend I was a giant goddess and was squishing him like a bug. It was very weird. Story 3. Years back, some guy offered to buy my shoes off me in the street. These shoes were falling apart, split down the heel, holes in the sole, scuffed to hell, being worn by a strung-out looking skinny person. Said to me, "I'll give you 40 quid for your shoes. I collect shoes." I was actually just down the street from my flat, so I kinda looked at him for a second, said, "Are you serious?" To which he nodded solemnly. I got my shoes off so damn fast. I wasn't wearing any socks either. This didn't seem to faze him. He immediately handed me 50 pounds, took the shoes, and walked off without a further word. I went into my flat, put on another pair of even more f***ed-up shoes, went back out and spent that 50 quid on booze and some other TBH, even if I hadn't been right down the street from my flat, I probably would have taken him up on it. I was extremely broke. He definitely those shoes, and for 50 pounds, I sincerely hope he enjoyed it. Story 4. When I worked at a grocery store, I used to eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches on break since it was cheap. I'd buy all the ingredients and just sit in the break room and scarf down 3 minutes 4 sandwiches before returning to work. One day, one of my coworkers saw me scarfing them down and asked if I could eat the whole loaf of sandwiches. I told him I think I could, but asked what he wanted to bet me. He said if I could do it that he'd buy me a whole loaf of bread, jar of peanut butter, and jar of jelly. Naturally, I agreed. I managed to eat the whole thing in a little under 30 minutes, but admittedly I was being pretty sparse with my usage of PB&J by the end. When I finished, I felt like walking at my normal speed would make my body explode, so I walked at half speed and took it easy. Admittedly, I did it as a broke college kid because I'd save about $4 by having him buy me a new jar of PB and a new jar of J. This experience didn't stop me from continuing to eat PB&J on future breaks. Also, later that night I took the biggest in the world. Story 5. I was homeless for a bit after high school, living out of my car. I had some of my things with me. One of these items was over the course of my childhood. My grandfather had collected those quarters of all 50 states for all of us grandkids. I opened that up and used the quarters for gas money to get a job. I have been trying my best to recollect them. Edit. Holy f***, this is my most upvoted comment. To give a quick reply to everyone, yes, I'm much better and I did get the job. This was over 7 years ago when I was 18 and I'm in a much better place now. As for the people offering me their coins, you guys keep them. I get excited when I go to the store and find one I don't have, so I'm going to stick to the thrill. Thank you everyone. Story 6. I used to write stories on commission. That's not the degrading part. I loved doing it, and most of them were a joy to write, even if it wasn't my own personal It was nice to know that someone was out there getting off to what I was writing. Even if the money was limited, as it was when I was starting out, I had a couple of clients who hired me on the regular. A couple of times at the start I took commissions for things I wasn't comfortable writing, but I needed the money. That didn't feel great. It's hardly high literature, but you can ask anyone who does it. You put a lot of yourself into your work, and having to basically just monkey dance for someone else's, often pretty disturbing, isn't a good feeling. It took about 3 or 4 bad commissions before I decided that I was absolutely, no way, going to take on a commission I didn't enjoy or that made me feel gross ever again. Story 7. I was 13 and my brother had to do community service for some stupid, illegal thing he did. My brother didn't want to do it and decided he was not going to go. My father asked me if I would do it in his stead. No one bothered to check IDs, just expected a kid to show up so my brother wouldn't get into more trouble. I negotiated for a new video game if I would do it. The community service was about 80 hours at a local park. All of the guys there treated me like and talked down to me because I was some kid that f***ed up. I took it and just bided my time till the end. At the end of my last day after I got the signed off form, I told them how shitty and stupid they were for not realizing that someone else did the community service. One guy threatened to tell someone about it. I countered that it would look really bad on them for not asking for something as basic as identification and left. Nothing ever came of it. Edit. Yes, it was bad parenting, but the flip side was my brother was pretty bad at not being a f***up. If memory serves, the game I got was Earthbound for the SNES. Totally worth it. Edit 2. My brother stopped being a f***up after life dealt him a series of harsh blows. He is married with kids, a nice job, and a nice house. So yeah, he got his shit together now. Edit 3. No, I do not have that copy of Earthbound anymore. The siren call of the trade-in at Funkoland was too great for a child that was too young to work legally. But rest assured, I did beat it before it was traded. Story 8. I'm a dude for context, and this is not necessarily degrading, but it was pretty out there in terms of getting money for me. I did figure posing for a small art collective when I was in college, very professional with exceptionally talented artists, the whole shebang. The dude who set it up asked me if I would do it for a group at another studio, and got to pose next to a beautiful woman in front of 50 or so absolute strangers. It was a very liberating experience to say the least. Once you've been in front of a room full of strangers, not much else phases you after that. Story 9. Was an absolutely broke student. We are talking literally zero in the bank when my friends were going to a house party that weekend. Well, have fun, guys. I don't even have bus fare to get there, never mind cash for a pizza and some beer. One of my mates says they will loan me £25 and just pay them back when I got paid from work. Turns out the place we were going to was 2 bus rides to get there, with no late night student bus getting back to town. So I was going to have to use the remaining £20 to split a taxi fare with one of the guys back home, which would have been about £30 in total. This left me approx £5 for food and beer at this party that we had just rocked up to. F*** it, I'll just get the cheapest bottle of cider and 4 cans of pisswater lager and just get hammered on that. Get back to the party and put the 2 liters bottle of something resembling apple cider and the cans on the kitchen worktop, looking for a pint glass to start making some snake bites. When I hear a massive crash behind me, a drunk girl had knocked the cans of lager onto the hard stone floor, bursting 2 of them in a shower of lukewarm booze. My friends decided to host a fundraiser for me, where for every dare I completed they would chuck in a £1 coin. Over the course of the night I swapped my t-shirt with one of the girls, who was wearing a small petite pink tank top. I'm a 6-foot tall guy who weighs 18 stone, 250 pounds. Pulled out some of my chest hair and ate it in a bread bun. Put some lip gloss on and had to refer to the other guys as Sailor for an hour. Waxed my shins. Made a fake account on Adult Fantasy RPG forum and had to read out the few responses I got in the guise of Gandalf, complete with mop, clean and dry, beard, wearing a green dressing gown at the top of the stairs. All in all, it was fun night. But damn, I was whoring myself out £1 at a time. Story 10. Pretending to like people when I worked as bellman, valet at a fancy hotel. Basically, every businessman, man or family man or cougar or drunk XYZ would think I was their best friend. I bent over backwards and went out of my way on any task, because that was expected. This hotel was around 130 years old and had a mystique to it that made everyone act all pretentious towards the help. We were expected to be on stage at all times. We had a secret bell closet that was the changing room for the valets and bellmen, a hidden door underneath some stairs. So there really was a mystique built around the whole process. Drunk businessmen were the worst. They would wave a $20 and ask you to do ridiculous shit. Bring me a potted plant and something to water it with. I miss my wife's garden. Yeah, sure. Then I sprint off and get them a plant and watering can for my $20. They're the worst because they actually say snide shit about you just doing your job. Just ask him to do it. He'll do anything for $5 that you tell him to do. I mean, yes I will, but bro. One guy would insult my haircut every time he saw me, then apologize and give me $20. I made about $140 off that guy. Got $100 for running to get a guy an ashtray that was smoking a cigar. He was right outside the hotel's restaurant and the night manager of the restaurant came out to tell him to move away. Instead, he asked me for an ashtray. Well, sorry old hutch, night manager, this guy has 100 with my name on it. Cougars were the only ones that ever made me feel dirty though. They'd call you to their room and wear the complimentary robe. Just leave it hanging open. They wouldn't treat me like a person though, just a piece of meat. They'd keep on calling the front desk, requesting some from their car, run up a newspaper, corkscrew, extra pillow, etc. just to flirt with you, say lewd, or just walk around showing off their nudity, I guess. Pat you on the ass, give you $5 and repeat an hour later. I need to go take a shower now. Forgot how dirty that job made me feel. Well guys, if you liked the video, please like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. Bye everyone.